This is NBC Connecticut News at 11.
Now at 11, restaurants and stores are back open across the state after being shut down because of the pandemic. Hair salons are next. Casinos could also be on that list, but tonight the governor is saying not so fast. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heideck. The dates are also set to bring back everything from gyms to bars and even outdoor events. But as NBC Connecticut's Leslie Mays reports, the governor now is also training his focus on casinos. Leslie.
Mike, the leaders of Connecticut's Reopen Committee say reopening the state's casinos on June 1st potentially creates the perfect storm for new infections of COVID-19 here in our state and the entire Northeast region. The governor says he also thinks it is just not the time for them to reopen yet. But the tribes who run the casinos, they say they're ready and they're moving forward.
Opening up now endangers your customers, endangers your employees, and endangers the broader community. It's a good time to slow up.
Governor Ned Lamont making it clear he doesn't think June 1st is the day Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods should reopen their doors to visitors.
I think that's incredibly risky, and it's risky for the people that work at the casinos. It's risky for the people that go to the casinos.
The Mashantucket, Pequot, and Mohegan tribes making it official this afternoon. The gaming will begin again at both their casinos in 12 days, with the chair of the Mohegan tribe saying, quote, "We have spent the past 10 weeks putting extraordinary measures in place, including cutting-edge technology to protect the safety and health of all individuals who walk through the doors of Mohegan Sun, as well as to ensure the safety of our community as a whole." The governor citing concerns about the ability to socially distance and the attraction of elderly visitors and guests from out of state possibly spreading COVID-19, echoed by his reopening committee co-chair.
The risk of outbreaks in this type of setting is actually enormous, and they'd have large ramifications as people return to their homes in different parts of not only Connecticut, but the Northeast.
But State Senator Kathy Austin, a Democrat whose district includes workers at both casinos, believes it's time for them to get back to business.
Do you think that now is the time that people should be going to a place like a casino?
If we can open up a mall where people are walking and browsing through different stores, we can certainly take into consideration the work that these two casinos are doing to make sure that everybody's safe.
The casinos are on sovereign land outside of Governor Lamont's authority, but he says he'll keep working to try to find an alternative path.
You're a sovereign nation, but you're also part of the great family we call Connecticut.
And both casinos say they won't be opening their concert venues, buffets, or poker rooms, and restaurants will be takeout only. They also say they won't market their reopening in New York and Massachusetts, and out-of-state buses will not be accepted. NBC Connecticut is getting an inside look in Mohegan Sun to see the first-hand steps they are trying to take to reopen safely. We'll have more on that tomorrow. Leslie Mays, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha, over to you.
Leslie, thank you. Cities and towns all across the state started loosening restrictions today. You are now allowed to return to malls, the office, and outdoor dining at restaurants. In Newington, the owner of TJ's on Cedar says turnout was great. They had about 15 dinner reservations for tonight. The restaurant brought in tents so they could open for outdoor dining. They've set up about a dozen tables with plenty of space in between.
For now, we're setting up standards of we're trying to set blocks of 90-minute windows for each table. So it allows everyone to get an opportunity to come in, sit down, and really get to enjoy dining out at a restaurant again.
TJ's is encouraging people to make a reservation and reminding them they can only be in parties of 5 or fewer. Now to a sight shoppers haven't seen in a long time. Malls open for business again. Drone Ranger gave us this exclusive view over West Farms today. There it is. Some people did come out, but they quickly found while the doors are back open, many of the stores are not. And a similar sight at the Sono Collection in Norwalk today. Steps are being taken to ease concerns like step-on hand sanitizer stations greeting shoppers at every single entrance.
And in New Haven, many of the retail stores there decided to sit it out for today's reopening. Corporate chains were mostly dark, so were a few local stores. But there were some that did welcome customers back with changes like contact-free payments and sanitizer stations. Also, any clothing that is tried on must either be steamed or quarantined for 2 days before it can go back on the rack. And those same guidelines are being followed at Footprints in Newington. It's a family shoe store that's been around for about 40 years. It did open back up today after shutting down in March. The store president said after someone tries on a shoe, they will sanitize it with a specific spray and then quarantine it for 48 hours. They also have extra masks on hand if you forgot yours.
We had customers waiting in the parking lot when we opened the doors, and it's been moderate and steady, which is just what we would hope for.
It's nice to be able to come up and get something and be able to take it with me.
The layout of the store has also changed a little bit, with the chairs spread out, and the cash registers are too.
Okay, so as the first day of the state's first phase of reopening comes to a close, many are wondering what's next. Today, the governor laid out the plan for the coming months. NBC Connecticut's Jamie Ratliff continues our team coverage with what we can expect.
As phase one of the reopening begins, officials are keeping a close eye on how it goes and the impact of the disease. But they're also looking forward. Phase two is expected to roll out in about a month, which would allow gyms, all personal services, outdoor events with up to 50 people, movie theaters, bowling alleys, and pools to reopen. Restaurants could open up indoor seating. And there's a variety of education and community services with specific dates to open. Youth sports could start June 20th. K through 12 summer school could begin July 6th. But in order to get there, criteria needs to be met.
And we'll be looking at the metrics. We'll be looking at where we are over the next couple of weeks.
In addition to declining transmission, protocols in place, and protection for the vulnerable, the state's looking to see 100,000 tests a week and half of contact tracing completed within 48 hours. The earliest phase 3 could begin is late July. It would allow bars and indoor events to open up. Outdoor events could have up to 100 people.
Once we give you the starting gate, you're able to go, then you're able to open at your own pace, and you don't have to open unless you feel like you're ready. But businesses must comply with the rules when they do open.
Governor Lamont says to give employees and customers confidence, businesses can voluntarily post a COVID prevention badge if they take all necessary precautions. Medical experts say we're going into uncharted territory and that keeping the numbers down will be a hard fight.
My own judgment is that we're going to have increased transmission as we increase, the contacts. We were coming off a strong social distancing, but at the same time, we're going to be putting in the mitigation that's needed to kind of suppress that.
And anyone who wants to report non-compliance can contact local law enforcement, call 211, or submit a Reopen Connecticut complaint form. At the Capitol, Jamie Ratliff, NBC Connecticut News.
New tonight, you'll be able to vote by mail if you choose for the August primary. Governor Lamont just signed an executive order tonight allowing voting by mail if there's no federally approved, widely available vaccine for coronavirus. The presidential primary was rescheduled for August 11th because of the pandemic. Follow the rules. That is the message from the governor after people took to the steps of the Capitol today to protest the state's reopening plan. Many of the people in this crowd were hairdressers frustrated over the fact that the reopening of salons and barbershops has been delayed until June. And they weren't alone. Dental hygienists were also here at the Capitol, but for a different reason. You see, they're allowed to go back to work now, and some think it's too soon.
In order to go back and feel safe, we need to have air filtration and purification tested to know that aerosols are eliminated.
I just want to know the scientific process of opening in 12 days from now. Like, are the germs going to disappear in 12 days from now?
Shops can open their doors on June 1st. Dental offices were allowed to reopen for all appointments as of today.
A Stonington barber will be getting shut down tomorrow after opening up today against the governor's order. The owner of Barber and Shave in Pawcatuck says Stonington police are expected to issue an order for closure from the Ledge Light Health District in the morning. The barber says that she spent a lot of time and money preparing to open today before the governor changed the date.
Honestly, if I don't open now, I'm not going to be able to pay the overhead on this place. I'm not going to be able to keep my doors open. So to me, it's not really a choice. This is what I have to do.
She says she'll continue to operate even after she gets that order tomorrow. The director of health said whatever happens after that is going to be up to police. Connecticut is among the last states to begin lifting restrictions, and there's a new Quinnipiac poll that finds the majority of Americans actually support a slow reopening. 75% of those surveyed say the country should reopen slowly, even if it makes the economy worse. People are split, though, nearly 50-50 on whether or not it's safe to visit hair salons and clothing stores. The majority feel it is unsafe to go to a restaurant inside or fly.